Hi, y'all. I'm Obscure Girl. I like movies. I like weird movies. I like weird, trippy, obscure movies that I feel like no one has seen or is talking about. Whether that be because they're just old, or because the marketing was bad, or because you're like, I think that was a fever dream I had when I was 5. I'm here to tell you, it wasn't. Let's talk about it. Happy New Year, y'all. I had the 2-week hiatus for the holidays, but I am back, and things are going to be a little different for just a little bit. I'm still obviously sticking to my obscure theme. However, I'm a movie girly, and award season is my football season, and the Oscars are my Super Bowl, and you bet I'm going to be talking about it. But I see it as because lately the Oscar and award picks have been more and more obscure and like no one's heard of them. It still kind of fits. So we're going to go with that. And I'm going to start off in a less obscure way. I just want to talk about movies in general. And I want to talk about my top 12 favorite movies from 2025. The year is over. Let's talk about the best it had to offer, which I'm not going to lie, was kind of slim pickings this last year. So the stuff that actually made it break through, I think we should reward that. Why 12? There's 12 months in a year. No, there's not one from each month. I just picked the ones I actually like the best. But here we are. This should be a mostly spoiler-free video. If I slip, I'm sorry. I shouldn't though. I'm just going to do mostly synopsis and telling you what the movies were. This is going to be a list in order of my least favorite to most favorite. However, if it's on this list, I did like it. Please don't get confused. After that, let's dive in. Number 12, The Naked Gun.
Squad.
I was not expecting to really like this movie. I thought it would be like a fun little enjoyable thing. I was not expecting to absolutely be bawling over laughing from start to finish. To say it was a remake that really paid homage to the original, it really had the exact same vibe. Like it was really, I felt like I was back in the, in the 90s. It was really hilarious. Like honestly, there's a scene, like you can see it in the commercial for it, this isn't a spoiler, where he's Liam Neeson is sitting there and he's talking to the picture of his dad, which was Leslie Nielsen's character, and he's like, I want to do you proud. And then there's just this line of other cops saying the same thing to their dad's pictures on the walls. Like absolutely hilarious. Pam Anderson was flawless. I love her. No inspiration whatsoever. But really, like, it was a fantastic movie. I could not stop laughing. To give a brief synopsis on this one, because in all honesty, it doesn't matter. It's so off the rails, you forget the plot. But it's the son of the original, Leslie Nielsen's character from the original, played by Liam Neeson, and he needs to solve a murder case while helping to save the police squad from being shut down. And hilarity ensues. Honestly, Kevin Durand was in this, and I absolutely fell in love with him in Abigail, and he's hilarious in this as well. Definitely a highlight. And yeah, that's the plot. We're not here really for the plot. We're here for the hijinks, and the hijinks were next level. Check this one out if you haven't already. If you were like, I don't know, like, is it just a cash grab? I honestly think this one was more of a tribute than a cash grab. Though, of course, everything Hollywood makes now is a cash grab, so take with a grain of salt. Number 11, Death of a Unicorn. So this last year, I've had, let's just say, a lot of free time. Luckily, so did one of my best friends. And he had come up, and he is definitely one of my main scary movie buddies. So we just got together and watched a whole bunch of scary movies. And one of them, he was like, you have to see Death of a Unicorn. And while it not being really scary, it's definitely gory. This is a delightful surprise. Starring Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. Also has Richard E. Grant in it, who is one of my favorite British actors. But basically, Paul Rudd is this guy who's trying to get a really big promotion at a really big company run by billionaires that project being super philanthropic. And on their way to this interview, he brings along his daughter, Jenna Ortega, for like a family-to-family weekend because they seem big on family values there. So he's trying to impress them with his daughter. They hit a unicorn. And it is a delightful twist on the classic mythology of unicorns, about them bonding with a pure-hearted maiden, and about, fighting and sacrifice and things like that, but also that unicorns are actually killing machines. However, after they hit one, they find out that its horn has all these healing properties, and the way the billionaires will flip things, they just start having this conversation and they make you all on board with like the healing properties of this unicorn horn, because it literally cures this guy's cancer. And they're like, this is it. We cured cancer. We did it. And immediately start calling only their billionaire friends in order to start selling all of this wonderful unicorn horn property. Hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler, but honestly, it's the real synopsis of this movie. And then turns out, guess what? There was more than one unicorn, and they come back on a killing spree. Also, it's really hard to kill a unicorn. So this is absolutely hilarious. I am definitely someone that laughs at gore, and I was laughing so hard for this movie. It was absolutely hilarious. For me, I found it hilarious. Other people might be a little like, ew. Definitely has some great social commentary. I love the twist on the classic tale, and definitely worth a watch, I would say. I'd put it in the same category as like a Tucker and Dale versus Evil kind of thing. There's gonna be gore, but you're also gonna laugh a lot. Check it out. So this last June brought us our number 10, Megan 2.0.
But don't touch Katie.
Megan.
And let me just say, it did not disappoint, at least not me. Especially when you think of it as they remade Terminator. Whereas the first movie was definitely more of a horror movie, the second movie leaned hard into the action. And again, did not disappoint on that front. Again, a scathing commentary on AI, but also kind of a cute message at the end where it's like, think of AI as like this new child coming into the world and it needs good parents. Which, AI has definitely a lot of problems, and while I don't think gentle parenting would be the best course with some of it, I definitely think it could use some parenting. Some responsible adults handling it, maybe. I don't know. But the movie was hilarious. Absolutely loved it. Definitely stayed on the sassy side, maybe even more sassy this time around, which did not disappoint. So a couple years later, Gemma has become this voice of anti-AI, and Katie is kind of going back and forth with this whole, did Megan actually really ever love me, or was she just programmed to love me? And is kind of struggling with that whole situation years later. Meanwhile, of course, the government got a hold of Megan's coding and put it into this new model that is now going on international spy missions for the government, and lost control and is now going rogue. And they blame Gemma for it, only to find out Gemma's probably the only one that can help save all of this situation. So it was hilarious. And just to find out, like Megan was never gone. She just downloaded herself into something else, and she's actually been helping out the whole time. It's really funny, and really like some of the action scenes. But really just, it parallels Terminator on a lot of levels. Like, I don't know, it's Terminator meets Chucky. I don't know what to tell you, but I had a blast. It was really, really funny, and definitely, if not better than the first, I would say it's on the same level, just in a different genre. Number 9. This is getting us a little bit back into the obscure category, just a little. It was a Netflix movie, but I freaking loved it. The Thursday Murder Club.
With the Thursday Murder Club.
Fantastic performances by Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, Celia Imrie, and Sir Ben Kingsley. Also with fantastic supporting performances by Jonathan Pryce, David Tennant, and Tom Ellis, Lucifer. Who knew I needed Lucifer and Crowley in the same movie, but I did. It is about 4 retirees that are living in this fantastic retirement community house. And they basically get together every Thursday to solve cold cases. Because with their, resounding different expertise from the jobs they had before retiring, they actually were really, really good at it. until an actual murder mystery pops up in their very own home, which threatens to get their retirement home closed down. It was really good. Like, it was a fantastic mystery. I had a blast guessing it. Really good whodunit, lots of twists and turns. Tom Ellis not speaking as Lucifer in that voice was kind of tripping me out, but I still wasn't complaining. And Helen Mirren is just a treasure as always. I just really, if you haven't checked this one out, please check this one out. It was fun. It was definitely fun. Number 8, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Yes, of course that movie was on this list. It was gorgeous. It was an absolutely beautiful, stunning, breathtaking movie, which I liked the new spin they kind of had on it. It took me a minute. I was watching this again with my husband and my best friend and kind of got to a point where it was veering away from the original. Because, yeah, I read the book. I read the book. And so some of the differences that they had taken, it kind of made me screech the wheels a little bit and had to process whether or not I liked those changes. To which my bestie was just like, oh no, like this isn't this. I'm like, I get it. I just need a minute to process. I'm not saying if I liked it or didn't like it yet. Just, it made me hit the brakes a little bit. So yeah. But then, of course, I came to the conclusion that those were really actually smart changes, and I liked the way that they went with it. Just having Frankenstein be a guy with mad mommy issues, just to the point where they even had Mia Goth play both his love interest and his mother. Top notch. I had no idea Christoph Waltz was going to be in it, and so he was a fantastic character. And yeah, it was beautiful. It was absolutely fantastic. I love that it focused more on the monster because, of course, Guillermo del Toro is going to be the guy that sympathizes with the monsters and makes it their story. And Jacob Elordi was really, really fantastic in it. I liked that they went more with the book a little bit, that the monster was actually gorgeous, but unearthly. And they really nailed that. And just really went with his side of the story a lot more. Because we've heard, you know, Dr. Frankenstein, or not Dr. Frankenstein, because he never actually finished medical school. But we've heard his story. It's time to hear from the monster side. And that was gorgeous. Just check it out if you haven't already. It was beautiful. There were even some gory scenes, but they were like tastefully gory scenes, I would say. And yeah, Guillermo del Toro hasn't steered me wrong yet, except maybe Pacific Rim, but we'll let that one slide. Number 7, Ballerina.
Looks like you already have.
I could not wait to see the new spin-off John Wick movie. Especially happy to know that John Wick was actually in it. I wasn't even expecting that. And he's not in it the whole time, but when he is in it, it counts and it hits. And yes. Starring the beautiful and amazingly talented Ana de Armas. It is basically the story of another person who went through the same assassination academy, the Rusca Roma, that John Wick had grown up in, the ballet academy that was also for assassins, which there's a lot of things now that have ballet studios actually be for assassins. R.I.P. Black Widow. And it was awesome. There's also some backstories to what she was doing before entering that, how she had been in a family that had been messed up mysteriously by a rival assassination clan, basically. And it is her kind of going on her revenge against this basically assassin cult that is outside of the assassin world that we know of. Like, they're not with the Continental, they're not part of that benefit program, they're their own thing. The one thing I really, really liked about it was they really harped on the fact that Ana de Armas is a small, tiny person. She's not going to have the strength. She's going to have to get creative. She's going to have to really, really, really pull and throw her weights in order to be beating people. She's not going to have it super easy. I really loved that, and I loved the creative choices they made with it. The one thing I did not like was this cult that she was going after would not die. Sorry, I know I probably shouldn't say that on YouTube. Sorry, would not perish. They just wouldn't. It was absolutely crazy. And they could have solved it by just having one sentence added. If they were just like, oh yeah, this cult has trained themselves to not be able to feel pain. That would have solved everything. But there are people literally getting in the... and they're still going full speed. That doesn't make sense. So, yes, I wish they had fixed the entire movie with one single sentence that they were, you know, they fried off their nerve endings and didn't feel pain anymore. Something. Other than that, though, movie fantastic. The storyline made so much sense. The parts where they used John Wick was gorgeous. It was a very satisfying, great movie that I was really, really happy continued in this beautiful saga. Number 6, Wake Up Dead Man.
Who wants to go first?
The third movie in the Rian Johnson Knives Out trilogy. So far, trilogy. He better make more. Yeah, this movie was fantastic. Once again, Daniel Craig coming back as Benoit Blanc. Not Beignet Blanc, even though if you haven't checked out that new Sesame Street skit, check it out. But this was a more religious one. So you have the first one, which was very stereotypical, big Gothic manor, haunted, you know, not haunted, but big Gothic manor, dark academia, whodunit murder mystery. Then you have Glass Onion, which was a masterpiece. I mean, Knives Out was fantastic. This one was fantastic. I do think Glass Onion was easily the best. And also just kind of more of the breezy, airy, feel-good vibes. This one went back to the more dark and definitely stayed more dark, I would say. Also love the commentary on... This one didn't take a side in religion. It very, very firmly battled for both sides. Religion versus atheism. It said the good and the bad about the church and spirituality in general, and I really like that. It was not just battering for or against. It was very equal and a well thought out conversation that didn't even really take up a lot of the movie, but you know, people were going to be looking for it to happen one way or another, and they handled that part very well, I think. Meanwhile, this one is an Easter movie, ironically enough, even though it came out in December. But it is about Josh Brolin, who is a very, very, let's say, controversial priest. And he has a very cult following of followers. Okay, I'm sticking with it. And not as big a cast this time around, I would say. I think you've got Kerry Washington and Glenn Close, Thomas Hayden Church were really the big names. Mila Kunis was in this one, but not as like, oh my god, everyone here has won awards kind of thing. Meanwhile, I still really liked it. Yeah, so the controversial priest is the one who ends up getting it. It's not a shocker. They say it in the first 5 minutes of the movie, pretty much. And you have to find out who done it, as usual. Except this one is an impossible case. It is a closed door murder, meaning like no one else was in the room with this guy and he just died. And then the wake up dead man is because he kept prophesizing that just like you know who, he was gonna come back 3 days later. And there was all this watching and waiting to find out what was actually going to happen with that. There were some things about the Thursday Murder Club I did enjoy more mystery-wise than this one. But this was, I think, cinematically and performancely, whatever it's saying, the better movie between the two. The way Rian Johnson especially worked with lighting in this one was very creative and very like, I see what you did there. It was nice. It was a very nice, did not disappoint. Wasn't Glass Onion, but it did not disappoint. Number 5, Weapons.
This is where the story really starts.
This movie was amazing. Oh my goodness, this was another one for the bestie vacation when we just were watching all the scary movies, and I could not wait to see this one. I had heard all these different non-spoiler videos, which normally I go hard into the spoiler videos. I didn't want to know, and no one would tell me anyway, so it was okay. This is definitely a movie that thrives on surprise, so I'm not even going to spoil it in case you haven't watched it yet. Just know it is a movie about an entire classroom minus one kid that at 2:17 in the morning on the exact same night went missing, and no one knows why or what happened. And it happens in chapters from all these different people's perspective. You get the teacher's perspective, one of the parents, the principal, one of the kids, a cop in the area. And it all winds down to a very awesome ending, I think. There were a lot of ways I thought this was going to go, and I had already some preconceived notions as to what subgenre this was going to turn into, and I was wrong, and that was okay. And I think because I had those preconceived notions, I didn't guess which one it was actually going to go with when it was getting kind of obvious. So that was fun too. I think it was absolutely beautiful and brilliant how it was made. Director-writer Zach Cregger from The Whitest Kids You Know. He also did Barbarian, which now I guess I have to see. But he wrote this in his grief, mourning the loss of his co-star from The Whitest Kids You Know. And also my backstory on this is I watched a little bit Whitest Kids You Know, but that was after I saw this movie Miss March that they both wrote and starred in when I was in high school. And it's like a Playboy Bunny comedy, and seeing him go from that to this was definitely like a whoa moment. And also finding out how the co-star had passed away was really sad. So I think that this was a beautiful way of handling grief, and I love how he also said any way you could take it is correct. Like, I had my reasons for making it and with my intentions for making it, but whatever you get out of it, that's what's correct. And I thought that was really kind of cool and really fits. So if you haven't checked out Weapons yet, what are you doing? Go check it out. It's awesome. Number 4. Some of you are definitely going to pick on me for putting this higher than Weapons, but still. K-pop Demon Hunters.
This plane's trashed.
I know half of you are going to be like, really, that high? And then the other half of you can be like, really, that low? This movie was very much all over the place in terms of how people reacted to it. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people that didn't watch it were like, oh, this is just the next Frozen. They're wrong. This is the movie that's actually gotten people into K-pop, which whatever does it for you, you know, like however you get there, just get there. It was an absolutely beautiful movie. Without too many spoilers, the synopsis is it is about 3 girls that are in a K-pop band called Huntrix. And there is this mythology basically that there have been 3 women of every generation that are gifted with beautiful song that is able to unite the world and protect them from the demons that are trying to get to this world and capture the souls of the living. And they are trying to perfect something called the Hanmoon, which is basically a force field that will protect the earth from demons being able to ascend to this plane. The songs slap. If you haven't heard them already, where have you been? They're everywhere. The songs are so worth it. Like, if nothing else, just listen to the soundtrack. The first time I saw the movie, I'm not gonna lie, I was mad. I was very mad at the ending, and it took me a long time to kind of get around to it. And I'm like, there better be a sequel. There better be. Because there is one glaring, very important question that I feel was essential to this movie that did not get answered in this movie. And so when it ended, I felt like I had no closure. And that was pretty messed up. But they're making more. So they have another chance to answer those questions. And if they don't, then I might throw things. Because, yeah, it's a pretty big plot hole to not answer this question. If you've seen it, you know. But otherwise, beautiful. I want a derpy tiger. so much. That's its actual name, by the way. They just call it the Derpy Tiger. I heard Etsy has plushies of it, and I want one. Really, really funny. Really, I loved the way they made it like part anime, part animated, and really just kind of like made some of the things exaggerated and cute, and then made other things super serious and, you know, action sequences. And the music, again, just listen to the soundtrack. I'm pretty sure you've already checked this one out, but if you haven't, give it a chance. Maybe wait till the second one comes out and watch them together, though. Breaking into the top 3, should be no surprise it's up here, Sinners. Yeah, that movie was amazing. It was worth all of the hype, and then some, maybe. It is a story of these two twin brothers that have been went to war and then went to Chicago to work for Al Capone for a minute, and then come back to their hometown in the South and want to open up their own juke joint. They are joined by their cousin called Preacher Boy because his dad is a preacher, and he has a once-in-a-lifetime gift that there is a mythology behind it saying that basically, like, once in a generation, once in 100 years, there is someone who has the power with their voice. Again, there's a lot of like, hey, there's the chosen one with the magic voice this year, but they slap. Who is able to bring the past, the future, and the present together and make the voice reach out through the generations on both sides and just bring the world together. And as someone who has always believed, if nothing else, music can be the thing that brings the world together, this movie was perfect. It also turns into a vampire movie. It's very like, oh, they remade From Dusk Till Dawn and did it better. Okay. But not completely. A lot of this is just the first, like, 2/3. Honestly, it is not until the last third of the movie that the vampires are even a thing. But first 2/3 is just these two brothers coming back and reconnecting with their old connections and trying to get this juke joint started, dealing with clan interference potentially, and dealing with, you know, segregated streets. It was beautiful how they portrayed this. They really did their homework on it. Ryan Coogler did fantastic. Michael B. Jordan playing both twins and nailed it. Just nailed it. Again, they had shown how, you know, there was one Market Street and one half of the street was whites only and the other half wasn't. There was a Chinese couple that were able to have a store on both sides. So again, really did their history homework. And a lot of the commentary after the fact of the movie was that the main vampire was Irish, and how they were showing parallels of basically people that will appropriate someone else's culture is basically vampirism. So showing that this was a, you know, Irish vampire that had lived when England colonized Ireland, and now he's coming and he just wants that connection, and he sees Preacher Boy's voice as a way for him to be able to reconnect with those that he had lost over the years. And in a way, he's an almost sympathetic character. They really kind of try and spread this whole, like, you know, maybe vampirism is the better way, and then it's like, no, it's not, guys, it's not. Beautiful relationships, beautiful romances in this, and when the vampires hit, it's cool. And also the scene everyone talks about where, you know, Preacher Boy is actually singing at the juke joint and everything goes crazy in the best possible way. Oh my god, that movie was so good. I'm gonna go watch that again. Number 2, Thunderbolts. I said it right! I can't tell you how many times I've called it Thunderbirds by accident. I have been mom naming the shit out of this. Okay, Thunderbolts by Marvel. The New Avengers. It was amazing. It was a balm that I think my generation needed. Very much so. It is a superhero movie where the main bad guy is mental health. Yeah, we needed that. pretty much the main character being Yelena, the younger sister of Black Widow, who's like, I'm not doing okay. Like, since my sister died, I'm not okay. And she's been working for Valentina, who runs some big bad organization in Marvel now. And she is in the process of getting impeached as director of the CIA. So she has Yelena and all of her other for hire people basically taking care of all the evidence of her wrongdoing. Until finally it gets to a point where the only loose ends left are the ones that were doing the cleanup. And so she sends Yelena, the bad guy from Winter Soldier and Falcon, Ghost from Quantumania, Taskmaster from Black Widow, and yeah, that's it. Sends those four to basically go all take each other out. Now, not going to spoil too much, but let's just say one character immediately gets eliminated that I feel like should not have been the one that was immediately eliminated. I wanted more redemption for that character. Meanwhile, one of the ones that stayed around, I don't even remember from the movie they were in. That is how much of an impact they made. And they barely made an impact in this movie. I don't know why they were there. But anyway, and then they find Bob, who was a test subject that was supposed to have died, who didn't. The best scenes in this are when Red Guardian shows up again, David Harbour. I might be biased, but damn. And yeah, he brings the comedy to most of this movie. And then also Bucky, which it was great to see him, but honestly, I think his scenes were mostly just setting up for future movies. Yelena was the one we wanted to watch, and Bob. I love Bob. Bob was great. And yeah, Valentina's super evil, and but you know what's more evil? Mental health. Mental health is evil, and the big bad becomes basically the depression of one of the other characters. And the way that they dealt with it in this most therapeutic without therapy way was beautiful. And a scene between Yelena and Red Guardian was the absolute best, where she's just like, Daddy, I needed you. And he's like, I didn't think you'd want me. And, you know, he gives her this big old pep talk, and she's like, all right, that was pretty good. And I'm like, why am I crying in a Marvel movie? I thought we were done with the crying scenes. Apparently not. I'll be honest, I have not really cared about this new phase of Marvel. I really wanted to, and then they keep messing up my favorite characters that I was rooting for. So, yeah, but this movie was great. Honestly, if this was Marvel's last stand, I would have been okay with it, because the bright side that we need is you can get over you can't cure mental health. You can't cure depression. You can't cure bipolar disorder. You can't cure anxiety, even in most cases. But you can work through them. And that in itself is a superpower. And that movie was amazing and beautiful. And also just, you know, there was plenty of action. There was plenty of, you know, fighty fight scenes. That was fine. I'm not in it for the fight scenes. I know, not a typical Marvel fan. I'm here for the actual content. Who knew? But it was beautiful. It was great. It was so good. I'm rambling now. Bye. So I don't really have any honorable mentions, because like I said, it was a Slim Pickens kind of year, but I do have a list of movies that I still need to see. I have not seen The Conjuring 4. I have not seen The Gorge. I have not seen The Ugly Stepsister. I have not seen Elio. I have not seen The Housemaid. I have not even seen Heart Eyes, which shout out to my boy Josh Rubin from Dropout, one of my favorite noise boys, directing a big hit horror flick. Yes, love you. So still need to see those. Maybe they would have made the list. Maybe not. Who knows? But, of course, my number one favorite movie of 2025. Should it be any surprise, guys? Wicked! Wicked!
But only one that mattered.
Yeah, no, totally. Wicked for good. It was perfect. It was amazing. I cried so much. I cried so much, guys. And also, like, really quick scenario in which I saw this movie was perfect. My best friend works for a bank who had gotten us tickets for this citywide event where we had a costume contest. There was a luncheon, a cocktail hour, a citywide scavenger hunt, and then they rented out the entire theater for our group to watch Wicked the day after the premiere. It was fantastic. And my best friend is my Glinda. She always has been. The day we first met, we bonded over Wicked, the book and the musical, because we're both that nerd. And so watching this with her, with us just like holding each other the whole time, just sobbing like, I love you too, was absolutely gorgeous. Also, it was really funny watching with a couple of noobs, which is what I'm calling people who have not seen the musical or read the book and had no idea what was coming this time around, which cracks me up so hard every time. I watched it with my husband later, who was a noob, and finding out what he did and did not see coming was hilarious. It was just really hilarious. But for me, the Oz freak that I am, God, I am. Seeing the castle in the West, seeing the flying monkeys, that alone made me bawl, because they made this place that I have wanted to live in my entire existence real. And it was before my very eyes, and it was beautiful. They, as some of you might know, they added 2 songs, one for each girl. A song called There's No Place Like Home for Elphaba, and The Girl in the Bubble for Glinda. And those songs I actually felt didn't hinder anything. I thought they helped. Especially The Girl in the Bubble was fantastic storytelling, both cinematically with the way they did some camera angles and also just adding more depth to Glinda's character. The changes that they made, I felt really, really helped, not hindered. There was one scene with Michelle Yeoh that was added talking to Glinda, and I just leaned over to my friend. I'm like, for your consideration, Michelle Yeoh for Best Supporting Actress. But otherwise, even Jeff Goldblum, who I really was kind of skeptical at first. I love Jeff Goldblum, but I really, this movie was important to me. So anyone messing it up in any way, shape, or form, I would not have been okay with. And I think he was perfect for this role. He really, really was. And it was amazing. The performances were fantastic. I do have some kind of like little hiccup with, I definitely think Cynthia Erivo is a once-in-a-lifetime voice, not a once-in-a-lifetime actress. She was good. I think her voice is better than her acting skills, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. And once again, Ariana Grande's acting stole the show. And it was beautiful and wonderful. And I have been changed for good. Well, that was my top 12 favorite movies from 2025. Again, the pickings were kind of slim, but the ones that made the list I think were very notable in their own way. What was your favorite movie from 2025? I would love to talk about it. Was there something I missed on the list? Was there something in my I haven't seen it yet list that you think I should really have seen? Was there one I didn't see or list that you really think I should check out? Please let me know. I am all about new recommendations. The next upcoming weeks might be a little weird. Of course, I'm going to be talking about my, obscure stuff. But like I said, with Oscar season coming up, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Just a little bit. This is a movie review channel. So, special shout out to Sean4707, who hooked me up with a microphone. So now I shouldn't sound like crap anymore. That should be great. I hope I didn't just mess it up by touching that. But absolutely cannot wait for this year to review movies with you all. Thank you for checking out my channel. Please check me out on Patreon. Please like, subscribe, share, do what you're going to do. But most of all, comment, because I really want to start conversations about this stuff. I've been Obscure Girl, and the rest is confetti.